So self-care is the best thing you can do going through life. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody or anything or any society. There's no rule or laws that said you have to have a certain degrees, you have to have a certain certificate, you know. And that's why I speak for women empowerment. It's not about being like a man. It's not about going to work and be a breadwinner. It's about embracing who you truly are.
Are you looking for a more holistic approach to your well-being? Well, then stick around, because in this episode of the Mental Health Toolbox, we're talking with pharmacist and integrative nutritionist, Dr. Sass. So let's go. Sasitorn Sukkasem, better known as Dr. Sass, has been in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years. She is a speaker, life and health coach in the areas of mind, body, and spirit. She holds a Doctor of Pharmacy from the University of Florida and earned her Integrative Nutrition and Coaching education from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, New York. Her mission is to demonstrate and inspire awakening minds to live a life filled with love, joy, peace, health, abundance, and enlightenment. This is the lifestyle that she lives by and is very passionate about. Learn more about Dr. Sass by visiting her website, www.drsas.us. That's drsass.us. So let's dive in. Hello, Dr. Sass, and thank you so much for making time to be on the Mental Health Toolbox. Super appreciate you being on today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, I'm very excited. I've never had a doctor of pharmacy on the show, so this will be a wealth of information. And I know you have even more experience branching beyond clinical pharmacy, so this will be fun. Do you want to share with our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you're about?
Sure. I was born actually, I was born in Thailand and moved here when I was almost 12 to the US, and been here ever since. So I guess what you call first generation Thai in America.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So my parents moved here because of the opportunity that America has. And, the education and the job opportunity, it's just so much better here than where I was born. And that's why I was yanked from my comfort zone and, being dunked in this, different reality when I was young. I went through a lot. I think as a child, didn't know it until I became an adult that it was it completely shocked me. I remember not speaking to any of my friends at school for like a year. One thing, I don't understand that much what they were saying, and the other thing, it was just like a big culture shock. But I overcame it. Been through college and it's still living here. So what I've been through over the years, what lead me to this point in life right now is my profession as a pharmacist, right? I out the bat, after I graduate from college, I joined the Air Force, U.S. Air Force.
I saw that in your bio.
A commission officer, because I want to give back. If I was still living in Thailand, I wouldn't have the opportunity to, let alone finish high school, because high school was expensive, was very competitive, and I probably wouldn't get a chance to go. But just want to give back, and I became an officer and as a pharmacist in the U.S. Air Force, and got out after 4.5 years of service. But what I saw being a pharmacist for over 30 years now, fast forwards, is that I saw a lot of patients who taking medication, whether it for mental health or for wellness or for diabetes, hypertension, whatever, all those diseases can be prevented by lifestyle only. So many years ago, I started down this path of just holistic health, personal growth, and just looking at things in a different way, living in a different way, more of in the now, and feed our body better, better nutrition and stuff like that. And I became a life coach and a health coach along the way. I segue a little bit before I get to this point. I was interested in anti-aging at one point, and helping people lose weight with, with microcurrent machines and stuff like that, high tech stuff. But I went through a lot too personally and heal a lot from that. And through my personal journey, I felt like I have something that other coaches don't have, which is personal experience. Divorce, single mom, multiple health issues, a lot.
You've done a lot of life. Yeah.
I feel like I live many lifetimes in this lifetime.
That's a great way to put it. I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of transition, recreating yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I believe in transformation, and each year, each month, each day that you live, when you wake up the next morning, if you're a better person or you know a little bit more than you did the day before, then it's a victory.
Absolutely, right? Because we're not static. We are beings that continually grow and develop.
Exactly.
And that's such an important part of our wellness, right? Is to be growing, to be evolving, right? First, I just want to thank you for your service. I don't want to drive past that. That's important. I really appreciate you putting time to serving our country and the forces and that such a great capacity, right? As an officer and helping to lead other soldiers and share your wealth of knowledge in that way. That's a big deal. So thank you.
Thank you. It was an honor to serve.
Yeah. So I know you talk about that like it's a small thing, pharmacy school, but I happen to have some inside knowledge because that was my major before I decided to be a therapist.
Gosh.
And not being an immigrant, knowing and understanding maybe the options before me and the tools. I mean, I was a first generation college student myself, right? I had never actually stepped foot into a classroom until college. Interesting backstory on my part, having studied through correspondence. I traveled a lot as a kid. So college was really my first experience with the classroom setting. But I remember when I was looking for majors in college, I went through this giant book at the time. It was like this thick in the college library. And I had no guidance. I didn't know what I was doing at college. I had no idea what I wanted to do or be. And I had in my mind I was going to be an X-ray tech because I heard that was a good bang for your buck. And then I was like, oh, maybe ultrasound tech because that's a little more bang for your buck. But I had no real expectations beyond that. But then when I looked in the Occupational Outlook Handbook, it was about this thick. And they had this section in there. It was like the top 10 projected jobs in the next 10 years, right? And was it the number one? Or I guess the top three was...
I believe it was number one.
Number one, yes. Pharmacy. And then I think it was anesthesiology after that. Best bang for your buck. And so I set my sights on that. And hell or high water, I thought I was going to make that happen. Not having a very strong background in math and science. So that was an uphill battle for me because pharmacy school, for those of you who don't know listening, is the same prerequisites as medical school. It's all the same bag. So you have your biochemistry, molecular biology, cellular biology, all that fun stuff, right? Organic chemistry after general chem. And so it's not a small feat.
All fun
and
stuff.
I scraped by. I mean, I made the grades with the skin of my teeth. In the sciences, I also majored in humanities and eventually made the shift to the social work and that field, right? The helping fields. But you graduated magna cum laude, right? So that is,
Yes.
I think that's a huge deal, especially given the fact that you
that's
were
a story to tell.
Adjusting to the US, the culture, the language, everything, and then you still managed to pull that off.
Well,
resiliency comes to mind.
It wasn't easy, Patrick. It wasn't easy. I actually did my bachelor degree first as a pharmacist, because back then you don't need a doctorate to be a pharmacist. So I graduated first as a bachelor of pharmacy and went on and practiced pharmacy. But even that, it was so freaking hard. It's difficult for American who speak the language. Yes. And for me, it was like, oh my gosh, sodium, potassium, what? It's like
phosphoproctokinase. What's that? No.
It's like learning a new language with a foreign language. It was hard. I remember probably I was depressed at one point.
I can imagine.
I came to the US when I was 12, and I with me and my sibling, it was just that we know we're going to make good grades, and we know that we just have to do it. So I put my head down. I translate every single word from English to Thai, and I made it. I graduated with honor in high school, and going to the first 2 years of college was a breeze. It was easy because I studied, even though it was my second language. And then when I get to pharmacy school, I was like, I am stupid. It was
all self-doubt, right?
Yeah, it was hard. I made it. I went back actually to get my doctorate when I was working full-time as a pharmacist. And at that time, I decided to have babies at the same time. So I was...
You just weren't challenged enough, right?
I remember first year of my, Doctor of Pharmacy school, I popped out my first baby. But before that, I checked out in the hospital. And then I wasn't far along enough. So I walked downstairs to the hospital library and study for my exam. And the next morning, I went home and sleep for like maybe an hour, and then just come back to the hospital and deliver the baby.
Wow. That's dedicated.
It was dedication, but back then I didn't know how to slow down. And that is a story to tell about mental health, is, being a minority and being a woman at the same time, you push yourself to be better, because you can't be just enough.
You can't be status quo. You have to.
You can't be you have to be above that. And I think this is what women nowadays are like stressing themselves over. And I didn't realize that society was subconsciously putting that in my head. I thought I need to, graduate with honors, magna cum laude, while popping out 2 babies and then working full time at the same time. And I thought I had to do all that, but it was stressful. I didn't know. But through that journey, I realized that health is important. Because before that, I was in a car accident, and I was out of work for 3 months, and then having to carry a baby for 9 months, my back was like completely
I can imagine.
a board. And going through that, working and going to school at the same time, it was difficult. So self-care is the best thing you can do going through life. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody or anything or any society. There's no rule or laws that said you have to have a certain degrees, you have to have a certain certificate, and that's why I speak for women empowerment. It's not about being like a man. It's not about, going to work and be a breadwinner. It's about embracing who you truly are. And that comes with deep work, right? What are you? I mean, if you as a person, not a woman, want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, then that's fine. But if it's not you, and you're just doing that just to meet certain expectation or to exceed certain expectation, so you can be looked at as a serious human being, then that's not a way to go, because then you living outside of your authentic self. And then that's when you get, anxiety, you get depressed, you get heart disease. I just talked to a woman before I come on the podcast with you. She doctorate degree, she was running multi-million-dollar company, vice president. She told me she was unhappy. And then she quit all that. She said at the end of the day, a nice car, a nice title, a big house doesn't mean a thing when you're not happy. And if you don't have your health, health is everything. You can have all that. Absolutely. And you're not going to be able to enjoy it if you don't have your health.
And it's cumulative, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. Our health takes a toll over time.
Yeah, it is accumulative. And that's why I focus on mind, body, and spirit. There are times when you get in a car accident, you need medication, you need those pharmaceuticals. But everyday life, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, even arthritis, Alzheimer, all those stuff can be, for the most part, prevented with good nutrition and good self-care. And most people don't know that.
I agree. And we talk a lot about this in mental health, but I feel like it gets passed over so often as being woo-woo, or maybe because it's not coming from a, quote, medical professional in that world, but I think it means a lot coming from a clinical pharmacist who has you haven't just practiced clinical pharmacy, but you went back to school for integrative medicine, as I understand. So you have a deep, deep understanding, right, on both ends of the spectrum about how they're related, the biochemistry, the mental health.
Yeah, right? Definitely, Patrick. For me, I was born, in a country where you respect movement, you respect food that coming from the ground, and vegetable, and stuff from the farm, and you just respect being around nature, and that's just part of who those people are, where I come from. But then when I moved here, I got brainwashed. So going to pharmacy was even worse. You get so brainwashed so bad that anything that is good for you is supposed to be double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. It's not. And what I figured out is it's not woo-woo, because science is way behind spirit.
Yes.
Spirituality is way ahead of science. Even Einstein said, when he looked through the telescope and he looked out there out in space, he said, there got to be a greater thing than, it can't be by accident, because everything else out there is so organized. You look at the flower, right? The petals are all organized, and they even have a harmonic. They have the sound, like if you there are equipments now that you can listen to trees, you can listen to
the vibrations
flowers.
of nature.
Yeah, the vibration of nature. And human beings have I guess the spiritual community would call it aura, but we have energetic signature, like, a meter from our body. You walk into a room, you think you're a meter away from another person. If they feel depressed, trust me, you can feel it. You can feel the energy.
That way we can feel tension in the room, right?
Exactly.
You know something happened before you walked in, and you can just feel it the second you. Sometimes we call that reading the room, but oftentimes we're reading the energy in the room.
Exactly.
Be that by people's the body language, the affect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the senses that humans have forgotten to use. Animals knows it. Like the birds, how do they know they need to fly south at a certain time of the year? And how can they make that formation? Did they talk? No. Did they have this headset on, on their ear and said,
right.
"Hey,
was there a manual they read?"
Right. Top
yeah,
Gun,
we've been raising butterflies. That was our pandemic project at home. My wife decided she wanted to do her part to save the monarch. And it all started with one little milkweed plant I brought home one day from a visit with someone, and they had a bunch of butterflies flying around the yard. So then that got her started. And, fast forward, 2 years later, dug up most of our grass, and it's all like native plants and host plants for the different butterflies and the monarch. But to your point, the monarch is an amazing, amazing endangered. Now, I think they've just classified the monarch as endangered species, and it actually goes through 5 generations to migrate. It's pretty fascinating. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Animals are fascinating. Nature and human being, and I think we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten generations after generations, and we thought we created this science to better humanity, to understand ourselves more. But I think we understand the physical part. We've forgotten the energetic part. We've forgotten the spiritual part. Human is more than just a body, and this is what I teach my client is, you are more than just what you put in your mouth. It's not just food. It's not just a receptor site where you create a medication and block that site and block this site, and then you're supposed to be whole. No, it takes more than that. It takes more than that. It is a shift in mindset. Yeah.
So I know you do a lot of energy work, right? And
not a lot. I know I've been through this journey many years. And through my journey of whole health, I've been exposed to a lot. And energy work is one of them. I used to do a lot of energy work. Right now I do a lot more mindset, a lot more reframing, retraining your mind. You tell yourself this story, and then it's like the ingredient in your brain that you think you are a certain person, that you think you are the result of your story, the result of what happened to you. Right. I'm reading this book now by Oprah Winfrey and a physician, and I forgot his name, but the title literally is "What Happened to You," and I respect that. A lot of bad stuff happened to people, and to kind of reframe it and say, what happened for me? What is it in this situation that I must overcome? And there is a story about I think Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you heard of him, he told this story, and I thought it was just so funny. But he made the point where he said that there's this secretary where when went off with a husband of this woman, and the woman said, well, my husband cheated with his secretary, and that is the best thing that ever happened to me, because now I met the love of my life, and then I'm happily married, and create a new career and stuff like that. And then the other woman had the same situation, and she put herself in a victim mode. What happened to me? My husband went off, cheated on me, and went off with another woman. That's the worst thing. And then she just like went into depressed mode. And this is what I work on with people. And I've been through some deep, dark places. I've been divorced. I was a single mom. I lost my house. I lose my eyesight at one point trying to raise 2 kids.
Wow.
Many things. And I get it. Things happen. If you live a few years on this earth, things happen, and we need to learn to kind of retell our story in a different way, and kind of purge the old stuff in your mind and replace it with good thoughts. Women, for example, were programmed to from where I come from, I was a very popular kid from being quiet. I was the teacher's pet because I was the quietest one. I get to pick to represent the whole class because I was quiet, and I was, just like proper, and don't yell, don't talk, don't do much. And that was looked at as being like a good thing. And we were conditioned to play small, right? And a lot of women feel, and men too, don't get me wrong. I just talk about women because I'm a woman, and I get how they wire. And people feel like they're not enough. And through whatever condition you have in your mind, growing up, living in this society, women in India, for example, get a lot of this. And women in the Middle East get a lot of this. And even nowadays in America, women were not paid equally as men. And that's why I think subconsciously women feel like they're not enough. And what I work on is, a lot of affirmation, different questions, dig really deep and say, why do you feel that way? What happened to you? What happened in the past that make you think like that? Is it really true? Who said that? And are they an authority to say that is true? I mean, anybody can say anything. And that's how I work mostly with my client nowadays, just to get into who they really are, the true perfect human being inside need to come out and peel away all those layers of onions, right? Like how
all those labels.
All those labels. Yeah, like Michelangelo when he chip away the rock to make the statue, right? People ask him, how did he do that? He said, the perfect statue is already inside. He just take away the excess, right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you refer to the deep work, right, that we do, a lot of it is about the narrative that we have given ourselves, the narrative that we have accepted about ourselves, as well as the roles that have been placed upon us and that we assume that we have to take, our identity, right? And much of that sounds very akin to cognitive behavioral therapy. As a therapist, that's really what we're taught is how to challenge the assumptions of the self, the the lens by which we view the world, known as the schema, right? But this is not new. These are not new concepts. These have been around for ages and ages and ages. If you look at the Meditations by Aristotle, it's it's been around forever. These concepts, these philosophies, right? But I feel like and especially in the work I do with clients, people like prescriptions, not just obviously medications, but they like kind of very black and white, like do this, don't do that. But the deep work of self-talk, right? Of reframing our experiences, of seeking to understand how we interpret the meaning we give to in the context of situations and exchanges and our role, of our own lived experience, even. That's not so prescriptive. That's very ambiguous. And I think that makes people very uncomfortable.
I think people think it is ambiguous because they don't understand. And if you take, I take my client through like 4 milestones. It's nothing new, but it's the way that you deliver it, the sequence that you deliver it can peel off. You cannot peel the inside of the onion before you peel the outside, right? So it needs to be methodological. That's a mouthful. It's there's a method to this madness, right? We think, and don't get me wrong, I don't know everything. I learned a lot from different people through the years, and I tested many things on myself and on my clients, and it to the point where I get to the point where I know that certain things works. And when you say it's not prescriptive, and people think prescription, for example, I have high blood pressure. I don't, but people said I have high blood pressure, and they go to the doctor and they said, okay, the doctor give them medication. And as a pharmacist, I know that's not going to fix your problem. That's going to block certain thing that prevent your body from,
do the work.
from your body for doing the work that it's supposed to do. And
now I can eat my cheeseburger because take my pill.
And what you need to do is not eat too much cheeseburger.
Taquitos.
Right. Yeah, but when you look at that, because people don't understand, they think the prescription is the way to go. But no, it's like when you want to really heal, you want to be really healthy. You need to do some deep work. You need to go to the gym. You need to eat healthy. You can't go, to McDonald's 2-3 times a week and expect not to have any health issue. And you can't play the victim mode and not expect to have depression, right? And I get it. People have mental issue. I've been there. I'm experiencing one right now. I'm going through grief. My son passed away a few months ago, so I'm still going through those 5 stages. Sometimes all stages in one day, sometimes all stages in, we know and we know and we know, but when you going through these challenges in life, if you don't take care of your body, if you don't feed it with the right nutrition, if you don't feed your mind mindset is a lot. It's more than medication. It's more than food. I would say, if it's not, most of the healing that you need is in your mind. And back to your comment about it being prescriptive. If you know about the double slit experiment, right? The scientists put the proton through this tiny little hole, right? And when there's no one looking at it,
Oh,
right?
yes. I love that.
It,
I've read about
you,
this. It's
you heard
exciting.
that
You
when
should
no one is
definitely walk us
looking at
through it
it,
for our readers. It's a good
when
one.
no one is looking at it, it behave like it's supposed to behave. It go through this hole and it go through this hole and it end up back there with two lines. But there's an interference somehow in there, right? And when there is an observer, it depends on what the observer believe. The result is totally different, and this goes against everything I learned as a pharmacist, as a scientist. When you do the double-blind placebo-controlled trial medication, and when it come out, why do we have placebo effect? Because some people think it's going to work because they weren't told that they got the sugar pill. And that's the thing that people think that is so prescriptive is not, is mental, because the medication that was created had an observer. If the scientists think, if I do this ACE inhibitor combined with this beta blocker or whatever, and it's going to create a certain result, guess what? It probably would. You're probably going to get the hypothesis that you hypothesize because you're looking at it and you expect it to be that way. That's why meditation works. That's why the mind shift works. That's why so many healing people with cancer, go off to little island and meditate and pray and eat and sing and dance, and all of a sudden the cancer is gone. Why?
Yeah.
She forget about her cancer. She just live happily, and the body fixes itself.
Yeah. No, there's a whole lot more to healing than it's not linear, right? It's
not
multifaceted.
Linear.
Absolutely.
Multifaceted.
Yeah. And I know you have your own lived experience of personal development, your own journey. And I know a lot of what you practice comes from, like most of us, practicing on ourselves, right? The things that we teach, we only have our own experience to speak from, right? And so what would you suggest to anyone who's looking to improve their mental health, their quality of life? If there is a certain order to an approach, what have you found to be most helpful, most successful in your work with clients?
Well, definitely, whatever you're going through with the mental health, make sure you have someone you can talk to, a therapist. I believe that every human being need a therapist. If that therapist is not a certified therapist, it could be your friend, it could be your family, it could be your brother and sister. And at the end of the day, you just need a listening ear. If there is somebody that you can say, hey, I'm going through some rough time, can I vent on you, or just can I just talk about it with you? And for the person who helping that person with mental health, it just be a listening ear. You don't need to be an expert. Sometimes it just that little recognition that say, yeah, I understand what you're going through, and it's valid. If this happened to me, I would feel anxious. I would feel depressed. I would feel like at times I may want to take my life, but stuff like that. If you find someone to talk to, a trusted person that will not judge you, that's the number one thing. Second, movement. I know when you don't feel 100% yourself, the last thing you want to do is go outside. But guess what? Going outside, being out in the sun and take a walk or take a jog or run. If you have a gym and you love going to the gym, go to the gym. That's like the natural endorphins, the feel-good hormones that can release when you move your body. So that would be a second thing I do. The third thing would be feed your body with good nutritious food. You don't have to break the bank by going to Whole Foods every day. I know they have great
Organic's
food, and
expensive.
I shop at Whole Foods. Their vegetables the best, and they have this organic, stuff. But if you would just keep one thing in mind, just one thing, anything from the earth that grow from the earth, vegetable, fruits, rice, potato. Everything that on the outside out, right? Not the inside. Anything that is in the box, stay away from them. If you can, when I was a single mom growing, my kids were little and they love eggs, and you just fry eggs and cook some rice or potato, and that it's cheap for one thing, and it's nutritious because you get everything that your body needs from an egg. It's easy.
I feel validated here because I have this conversation with my counseling clients at least like 3-4 times a week about the importance of getting ample amino acids, healthy fats, and eggs are really kind of, and they're high tryptophan, which is the building block of serotonin, which is basically what the antidepressants are trying to regulate. So, you can't bottle that stuff. You can only get it from your diet.
It's natural. You can get a lot of nutrients from food, and when your body is going through some rough time, you need the nutrients to heal. At the end, you can give your body the serotonin, the man-made one, all you want, but your body still need to heal. So it need that good nutrient from fruits, from vegetable, from grains, and it's just the basic rule of thumb, really.
And to your point, I know a lot of the objections I come across when I'm talking about self-care in form of diet is the cost, right? But I think, again, like many things, if people can't envision it, if they haven't found a way to practice it in their life and work it into their routine, it seems very unattainable, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'll have clients do is I'll actually like walk through the produce aisle, and I'll have them, okay, I want you to pick up the beets. I want you to pick up the green chard. I want you to pick up the kale and spinach and see how cheap it is. Radishes, ginger root, that stuff is dirt cheap. And you can go home and, you can make a green juice or whatever vegetable or even a good salad. And it doesn't cost nearly as much as some of the other highly processed foods.
That is so true. And it doesn't need to be overnight. Just like one day, one meal, one serving of vegetable would change the way you feel. Take that baby step. I know a lot of people don't know how to eat healthy. That's one of my specialty. I learned the hard way because I was schooled in America where you go get frozen food and pop it in the oven or in the microwave, and then you call that a healthy meal, right? It took me many years. So take your time, but take that first step to buy one green, one fruit, just one thing a day. And that goes a long way. And then do that for a week, and then next week, take 2 things. And what we do in Integrative Nutrition, IIN, that's the school that I graduated from. They teach the crowded out method, meaning when you add one healthy thing at a time, you're not going to have enough space in there to eat bad stuff. And then when you add another healthy thing. So you kind of crowded out the unhealthy stuff, and eventually you will start eating healthy right now. I mean, I used to listen, speaking from experience, 10, 15, maybe 13 years ago, I love coffee. I still drink coffee, and that's my only vice. It's
Don't
not
take it
that
away
bad
from me
for
now,
you.
doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit left in here, but I have nice words on my cup,
Oh, there you go.
and these are energy. That's
Yeah, same here.
another topic to talk
I like
about.
this. Yes. I like it. Crush
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But guess what? I used to put 10 packs of sugar in a smaller cup of coffee than this, 10 packs. And I learned, I mean, I literally one day I go, I can't do this anymore. I cannot put this in my body and pretend to be a healthcare professional and live a healthy life, right? I have 2 kids. I need to work to take care of myself so I can take care of them. So I just quit cold turkey, and now I cannot drink coffee that is sweet. Your palate change.
Oh, for
slowly,
sure.
you change, and you just don't want to eat
absolutely
anything sweet anymore.
I've been trying to get my wife to go black like me with the coffee, but haven't been able to turn her just yet.
But black is in fashion, right? You go all
yeah,
black.
there you go. Straight up, no cream, no sugar. It's the way it's supposed to.
Let her know. She can talk to me.
I'll send
it takes me going back and forth. It doesn't take me one try. It's like smoking, right? People who smoke, and I used to counsel patients who smoke. It takes a few tries, and don't be too hard on yourself if you don't succeed the first time. Try it again. So that's the 3 things that you can do. Eat healthy, find someone to talk to, and go outside. And the last thing, there's many things you can do. The last thing, and probably the most important thing, is sleep. Make sure you get enough sleep. When you are not well mentally, and I know it. Looking back, I made some serious bad decision, and I thought I was mentally fine. I was mentally fine, but I just didn't have enough sleep. I was burning candles at both ends, right? Raising 2 kids by myself. I was just sleeping 3 hours a day. If I was running a business, working full time, running around, taking my kids to soccer, to church, to swimming lesson, to all those stuff. And I'm like the super mom, and I can do it all. Don't try to do it all. Find help and find sleep, find time to sleep. And the first time, my teacher said the first time that he moved out in the country, he was living in New York, and he moved out in the country, and he slept well, and he literally sleep for 3 months, and that's all he do: sleep, get up, and go back to sleep. And his body was just so deprived that he just need all that sleep.
And I believe it.
You'll be amazed at what sleep can do. You feel better. You
That's
make
one
better
reason.
Yeah.
People burn out, right? Yeah, if they don't, people will burn out, right? So burnout is if you don't get the rest now, your body will force you later, right?
Yeah, and your body will force you into stress, into depression, into anxiety, and you will probably have bad relationship if you don't have enough sleep, because you just on edge all the time. So that's like the best. Probably before food, sleep come before food. For mental health, that's like the first 4 thing. If you can't do anything else, sleep, find somebody to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all kind of related too, right? And we could talk for hours about sleep and sleep hygiene, the importance of sleep. And but I know, like, if you're not moving your body and you're not eating right, both of those will affect your sleep. Because there's plenty of clients I talk to who want to sleep, but they can't sleep. Right. And there's plenty of clients, we work with, or we hear from people who are very high achievers who, say, would rather, put in, get 3 hours of sleep to put in 2 more hours of work. Right. But that catches up with you. And lots of studies I've read recently, getting less than 6 hours of sleep could lead to Alzheimer's and other things,
It also come with the desire to get better. And sometimes you have this subconscious guilt or whatever, like feeling guilty to get sleep, feeling guilty to take care of yourself. And you end up just self-sabotaging and just don't feel like you're worth to have that good life, that good health. That's why people go to you and me, right? We can kind of ask the right questions, and pharmacists are also trained, to really ask the right questions because people take their medication wrong all the time, and you think that they're taking it once a day, and they're supposed to take it before meal, at night, and stuff like that. Not with milk, and you have to dig really deep, and whatever is bothering you, it takes time to uncover. Just know that you are loved. People around you love you. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't see it, your parents, they do the best they can. If you still have trauma from that as an adult, and I know a lot of people do, even your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, I think a lot of it has to do with drawing boundaries too. We can talk for hours about what to do.
Multifaceted.
Really.
It's a wealth of information, but that helps tremendously to understand maybe the pillars to really focus on, right? The different buckets I think I can improve if I know kind of which levers to pull, right? And if I know that, okay, so levers I'm pulling then are support, like you said, having a confidant, somebody that will keep your trust with positive, unconditional regard, aka no judgment, right?
Exactly.
The other levels, activity, so finding a way to have fun and be active on a regular basis, right? Something you would typically enjoy, something that you enjoy so much, typically, that when you're depressed, you can still force yourself to do it, even though you don't want to, right? Right. And then diet was a third lever, right? And then, of course, the fourth lever is sleep. I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 4 pillars.
Yes. The 4 pillars, levers, whatever analogy works for you.
4 pillars of mental health.
Yes. The 4 pillars for mental health. I'm going to turn that into a blog. I'll beat you to it. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sass. Is there a particular place that we can find you, learn more about your work?
They can contact me or find me on my website. And there's a link to my Instagram there. Pretty active there. Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is your site, right?
That's my site. Yep.
All right. Very nice. You got all your socials up here at the top, right?
All the socials up top. I'm still working on the YouTube. I have a podcast coming up that I'm launching at the beginning of next year. So that's still in the works. But I have a lot of tips in my Instagram. Publish a lot of articles. I have a self-love journey, online self-love journey that you can do that at the comfort of your home. I do
excellent
one-on-one coaching.
Nice.
So all the information is on there.
Nice. You got a blog? Very good.
Yep.
Excellent. Very nice. Your website's so easy to remember. Dr. Sass, DRSAS.us. That's simple. It's about as simple as it gets. My website's way too long, like the Mental Health Toolbox. That's like way too long.
Yeah, but
I would have
people
snatched
also remember that.
mht.com if it was taken.
Yeah, I started a blog a long time ago, and then I got away from that and decided I should just do articles and publish it on different sites. So you find a lot of my later articles on I think in Newsroom. You can find it in Newsroom.
Newsroom. Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there in Utah, got interviewed on TV.
Oh, that looks like Utah. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, with Christine. She's an amazing person. Yeah, if you scroll down, you can click on podcast is coming. TV, there's still, I have a few TVs that I still need to upload. There's some publications, different podcasts I'm in still in the works. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Yeah. So there you go. No shortage of information here. Good job. Very well done on your site. I'm excited to see the YouTube channel roll out. Keep me posted on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, exciting stuff. Well, I really appreciate you being on. I could go on for hours with you. This is like my jam. I love talking about all things wellness, not just mental health, but the wellness side of it and healthy living, mostly because I'm selfish and I just want to learn biohacks to stay alive longer and be healthier for my kids and the grandkids to come and all that.
Yeah. So, I know one thing I didn't say, you're talking about biohack is meditation. Yeah. But I'm sure you're doing that, right?
Maybe not formally like I could. I do. I try to incorporate morning stretching, and I will go through the things I'm grateful for in the morning while I do some deep breathing and stretches with my first cup of coffee before I have the kids getting up for school and the chaos begins. I try to, I do my best, not every day, but I do my best to get up early enough to get in at least 10, 15 minutes. And that makes a difference in setting the tone for my day.
Yeah.
I would like to incorporate more yoga, learn more yoga and formal meditation and so forth. I think that would, of course, be a benefit.
Yeah. So. I believe one of your guests that I listened to, I forgot his name, but I very resonate with him. He said, and he do a lot of the things that I'm doing already. He schedule his stuff in, like meditation. He said start with just 3 minutes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That guy.
Absolutely. That was a good episode.
Yeah, he also have a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really helps. If I can add that fifth leg in, start with 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. My wife, before this podcast, I was actually outside pulling weeds with my wife. My prior podcast had canceled, so I was like, I have a few minutes, and we went outside to chat, and I started, you see the weeds and you start pulling the weeds and stuff. Like, hey, if we just did this 5 minutes a day, I was like, that's true with most things. If we did 5 minutes a day of exercise or 5 minutes a day of meditation or 5 minutes a day of learning and reading, and I think discipline and routine, incorporating new habits is always the hardest part. But it really, to move the needle on a lot of things, it doesn't take as much time as sometimes we make it out to be in our head, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take much at all. And that would be the biohack, is having the schedule and add the thing that you want to do into your daily routine.
Yeah. Something that helps me a lot is setting reminders on my Siri, or I have an iPhone, Apple Watch, whatever. But hey, Siri, remind me, and that's really good because I'm very out of sight, out of mind. So if I set up alarms and stuff to remind me, or be it a string on the finger or whatever works for you. But
whatever works for you. For me, it was Google Calendar, and I have the same routine every day.
All right. Well, I feel validated. I'm sure everyone listening feels validated, because I feel that when you're in a position where you're trying to improve yourself, you look at other role models or online quote experts or whoever, and we just assume that we're supposed to have it all together. We assume that it's supposed to be easy. It's not.
It's not. But taking that first step, it's a big step. But once you take the first step, it gets easier.
Yes.
Easier.
Absolutely. So now 5 pillars for mental health. All right. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Sass. Would it be okay if I had you back on down the road see how things are going with you.
Sure, definitely. You can. I would love to have you on my podcast as well.
Excellent.
To add to the wealth of knowledge. I don't think you can ever know enough. There's always somebody out there know different things than you do, know a little bit more than you do. And I'm humble enough to admit that still have a lot to learn.
The more I learn, the more I know I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Yep. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate your time. And
thank you.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too. My pleasure. My pleasure. Hey, if you're getting value from this content and you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the MHT YouTube channel and podcast and share with friends and family that you feel would benefit as well. All right, well, there you have it. Another tool to help you thrive. Until next time, make good things happen. Bye-bye now.